What's going on, guys? Welcome to We Got a Problem. So it seems the EU committee investigating the Brexit Party leader Nigel Farage over undeclared gifts has had to take a rather embarrassing climb down regarding his 24-hour deadline given to Nigel Farage to appear before them to explain these gifts. Now, of course, the deranged mainstream media have made a fairly big deal out of the original story, how the EU committee is investigating Nigel Farage's finances. But to be honest, it's really a nothing story. What I mean by that is, even if he is in breach of the rules, he will be fined less than £10,000 and get suspended from the EU Parliament for a maximum of 30 days. It's not exactly the career-ending situation media headlines have made out when they first broke the story. Now let's take a look at the article and analyse it further. The article headlines with EU Parliament caves on Nigel Farage ultimatum over undeclared gifts. The Parliament has been forced into a humiliating climb down after it set Nigel Farage a 24-hour deadline to attend a hearing into alleged undeclared gifts from Brexiteer tycoon Aaron Banks. Sources today revealed that as a result, the committee had decided to extend the deadline to next week. The 24-hour ultimatum was dismissed as politically motivated by aides to Mr Farage, while the Brexit Party leader himself branded the committee an EU kangaroo court. Now let's stop it there. I think the Brexit Party saying this is politically motivated is right on the money. I expect the 24-hour ultimatum was aimed to try and prevent Nigel Farage meeting the US President Donald Trump. It says the committee decided to extend it by a week when in actual fact 1 week is the standard procedure for responding to an investigation in the EU Parliament. It's amazing how the EU thinks they can just drop rules to disrupt Farage meeting President Trump. This committee is trying to hold the Brexit Party leader to account for breaking the rules, while they sit there and completely disregard their own rules around investigations. It seems to be a common theme among the EU and Remainers these days. Everyone must follow the rules except us, as we are the moral Puritans and you're all fascists, is what they're saying. Farage calling them a kangaroo court is a complete understatement. He should have said much more. These pro-EU scumbags are so brazen with their hypocrisy these days because it never gets called out. The media promotes their bullshit, so it will continue. Now, we'll go back to the article here. The Parliament investigation focuses on almost £500,000 worth of donations from Mr Banks, which allegedly include a chauffeur-driven car, rent, and bills on a £4.4 million Chelsea home. The gifts were exposed by Channel 4 News investigation, but are not declared on the European Parliament's Register of Financial Interests, which would be in breach of the EU rules. The Parliament's Code of Conduct Committee issued a summons to the Brexit Party leader to attend a formal hearing to explain himself on Monday afternoon. But rather than the usual 7-day time frame to respond to any investigation, it gave Mr Farage just 1 day. Now, after the Telegraph broke the story and set out how Mr Farage was facing a possible European Parliament ban as punishment, he vowed not to attend. That evening, he met Donald Trump at the US Ambassador's residence in London. On Monday, Mr Farage said, "I will not be attending at such short notice, and if they try to bar me from the building, who else gives voice to the thousands of people who voted for me? Is this democracy EU style?" Obviously. Now, as I said earlier, and the article elaborates on a bit there, the EU Parliament's Code of Conduct Committee is likely a cesspit of fucking corrupt pigs, salty about Brexit, and they've now decided to summons Nigel on Monday the 3rd of June, demanding he attend a formal hearing 24 hours later in Brussels, meaning they expected him to go over to Brussels on Tuesday the 4th of June for him to answer these allegations. Now let's not forget that that is the very day it was well known that Trump and Farage would likely meet up, putting even more weight to the claim that this shady tactic was politically motivated, in an attempt to halt the Brexit Party's rise and by extension Brexit itself. The EU Parliament's Code of Conduct Committee flagrantly breaches the Code of Conduct by giving the accused MEP, a democratically elected representative of the British people, 1 day instead of 7 to respond by the EU's own rules. If you ever wanted more proof, the EU is in league with the media and left-wing politicians on ignoring the British public's democratic rights to vote, this is surely it. If they don't like you, then you're a fascist and you have no right to due process. Welcome to the EU. The secret Fourth Reich struggling to hide its fascist ways. Now, the Telegraph has learnt that Mr Farage wrote to the committee, decrying the short notice and accusing it of breaching EU confidentiality rules over financial misconduct hearings. Oh, so they not only break their own rules on MEPs responding to an investigation, they also breach confidentiality rules by disclosing information about hearings. It just goes to show what a backwards clusterfuck of a world we live in today. Now, this is what happens when you let the lunatics take over the fucking asylum. Now, as a result of the deadline, which was explained as necessary to conclude proceedings before the end of the current European Parliament term, has been extended to next week. Oh, so it didn't need to be concluded before the European Parliament if they can extend it to next week. When Farage essentially told these half-wits to go fuck themselves, they knew they didn't have a leg to stand on, so now they've climbed down like the snivelling shitweasels they are. I hope Farage goes over there and calls them out for it. I guess it just shows the low-life scum that run the EU. I feel really sorry for the rest of the EU nations stuck in that shit show. Now, Mr Farage could be fined up to £8,000 through withholding of allowances and be suspended from parliamentary activities for between 2 and 30 days. Now, as I said at the start of the video, less than a 10k fine and a 4-week holiday? No doubt it will be a paid holiday knowing the EU. Maybe Trump will have Farage over at the White House for a holiday. That would really piss off these worthless cunts. Right, that's going to be the end of the video anyway, guys, before I carry on ranting about it. Leave a like, comment and share the video as it helps a lot, and I'll see you all in the next video.
Man's gonna kill this shit, you'll need SWAT and medics too. Off for the contract credits due. Punchline king, I'm ahead of you. A&E's where you're heading to. Whip is green but the lights are blue. Bars are shit, take the mic from you. Heating up cheese, I don't like fondue.